Listeners, on Tuesday morning, and I'm sure many of you expected I was going to talk about this. On Tuesday morning, I attended the launch of the Wigton IPO at the Pegasus Hotel. As you know, there's lots of public interest in it. I've been following it closely, primarily because of my role here as business and finance editor at Nationwide. And I've also been sensitizing my followers on social media about what to expect, how to understand the prospectus, how to invest and things like that. We've been getting a lot of questions. So naturally, I was excited to attend the launch the morning after the prospectus was finally published online and, get some more details about it. So just a quick recap. 11 billion shares are being sold in Wigton Wind Farm at 50 cents each. 2.2 billion shares are reserved for public sector workers. So it's very affordable. The minimum buy-in is only 1,000 Jamaican dollars, not US. And they're taking this bottom-up approach where small investors are being given priority so that they're not left out. Because as you know, many of these IPOs, they open and close same day, some within minutes. The finance minister gave the assurance that that won't happen this time. He said micro investors will be given priority. So that's like $10,000 worth of shares and less, then small investors, then medium, then large. And I really like this approach that's being taken because this isn't just any company selling shares. This is a company wholly owned by the government. So they have a social agenda as well, not just a straight up business agenda. Which brings me to the Prime Minister's speech at the launch. Did you hear it,
I
Patria
didn't hear
Kay?
all of it.
Yeah.
I heard the salient points that made the news.
Right. So the speech was outlining the why they've taken this approach. He called it the socialization of wealth.
If you reflect on what we're doing today and how we have structured the transaction, you would have to say that this is the best way of giving back to the people of the country. This is the best way of achieving the goal of socialization of wealth. So there is a confusion operating in the minds of some that placing wealth on our stock markets is a way of making the rich richer. It can be, no doubt. But in a democratic society, in a properly regulated market, it is the best way of socializing wealth. Put it in another sense, it is better than socialism. Our economic strategy is economic independence. And so what we are about, yes, ultimately, is to secure our political independence. And the best way to do that is by securing our economic independence. And to do that, we must push wealth into the hands of the people. So our strategy is not poverty alleviation. Our strategy is not welfare. Our strategy is wealth creation. And I know that in the minds of many Jamaicans, there is a fear almost that wealth creation is synonymous with exploitation. Again, we have to get that out of our psyche, out of our way of thinking. Jamaica is destined to be a rich country, and we must never be afraid of wealth.
Please make that happen in my generation.
He said Jamaica is destined to be a rich country.
I want that to happen while I'm alive.
He said it's not about poverty alleviation and welfare. He said they're about wealth creation, and he said that's better than socialism. I found the message inspirational and visionary. And it's not just words, because we see it enacted in policy, like using the JSC to divest government entities. And it's building upon their 2016 campaign slogan of poverty to prosperity. I found it to be a hopeful message, much like Obama's message, yes, we can. It gives people something to believe in and to aspire to. And in reflecting on it, as they're thinking, the Jamaica Labour Party has really found a message that people can relate to and rally around. Politically, it's a brilliant strategy. If you've ever read the 48 Laws of Power, which I happen to be reading now, there's a chapter in there about how to create a cult-like following.
Yes.
And I really think Andrew Holness and his, ranks are fine-tuning that strategy. But I also get the feeling that it's more than that, that they genuinely believe in this message and this vision for Jamaica. And who doesn't want to be wealthy? I mean, that's a vision that people can rally around. And as I was reflecting on these things Tuesday evening, driving in traffic, I happened to hear Paul Burke on the radio being interviewed by Cliff Hughes and Kamisha Kelly following that scathing letter that he wrote in the wake of the PNP's loss in East Portland. And it occurred to me, listening to Paul Burke, that everything Andrew Holness delivered in that speech is what the PNP needs. You know, the JLP has a very clear message, and they use every opportunity to deliver it as well as to craft policy around it. And I'm thinking about the PNP and thinking, what is their modern message for Jamaica? And that's the point that Paul Burke was making in that interview on Nationwide at 5. He was making the point that your message can't be the same as it was 30 or 40 years ago because times have changed, generations have changed. You can't be talking as you did then about creating NHT and free education. You have to advance it, increasing benefits under NHT, for example, as the Labour Party is doing. And I just kept thinking, so I'm trying to wrap my mind around it and come up with a clearly defined message. What is the PNP's modern message and vision for Jamaica? Andrew Holness says Jamaica is destined to be a wealthy nation. That's an extremely powerful message that inspires people and makes them want to work harder. What is the PNP's and Peter Phillips's inspirational message? What is the call to action for this generation? I think they need to take some notes quickly if they want to have a chance in 2020 or 2021 when the election is called. That's what's on my mind.